What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect Podcast Show, Part 2 with Yannis Pappas. I'm sitting here. We had such a good time on Part 1. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We're going to run a little longer here. Yannis is, let's be honest, guys. I told you, I got like 5 close friends. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, listen, I'm friends with everybody, right? I think it's safe to say I'm friends with everybody. I never was a comedy clicky guy, you know? We've talked about it.
It's not possible to have more than a few friends.
Well, and here's the other thing,
possible.
too. But I was never the comic to go to, like, the comedy poker game. I wasn't a comic to go to the Saturday basketball game. And here's why. Not that that's against it. Listen, I might have, had I lived in the city, not had a family. I'm always an upstate guy, right? I got a family. I want to get out of here and go to them. So I just wasn't that, all the comics are going to meet at the park and play. That was not me. Was that you?
No, it's never me. I mean, when I was younger, I would hang a lot more.
You're a bit of a loner, too, a little bit of a loner.
As I've gotten older, I was a lot more social. But yeah, as you get older, it's just, you get less friends and you have less in common with people. When you have kids, it's hard to hang out with people who don't have kids for too long. Like, what am I going to do? Go meet my friends who don't have kids? There's nothing to talk about. We don't have anything in common anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who you think are your friends in your life, and they are during those periods, it's mostly because you got things in common. You have things in common. And when you remove those things,
right,
then you're no longer as friendly as you were. You just notice that you don't have those things. If you don't have those things in common to talk about, you're not as much friends as you were. That's just natural. That's normal.
Yeah.
I think that's very normal. Like when I see my friends now who don't have kids and we'll talk, it's like it just gets to a certain point.
Right.
It's like we got to hang out more. I'm going like, when's that going to happen?
Well,
what are you going to come over as a single guy and hang out with me and my kids? It's like, it's you have to have kids. You got to have the wife. Then you start going out as couples. It's just like, it's called growing up.
Well, that's
something Americans don't want to do anymore. It's like you're 45.
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny that you said that because your friends that were single and would drink after sets and go out and say, hey, let's go to a bar, that continues with some guys where the other guys are like, I'm kind of done. And then once you do that, I feel like the people that aren't done have a little resentment towards it. Do you agree with that? I think it might not be, it might be, you could call it envy, you could call it resentment, but there's something about the guy that stays single, or woman, by the way, that stays single, drinking and living that life that was like 20s, 30s, but now they're doing it in the 40s. There's something about them that I feel that when they see somebody evolve, they don't like. Is that too negative to say?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not saying this from a pulpit. I'm not trying to talk down, because I was also of that mindset where, like, I didn't want to settle down. I was waiting. We're so career driven here in America. It's all every immigrant that comes here, they come here to loot. Everyone's here for the money.
But don't you think a lot of that's fear, the non-committal's fear?
No, I think it's cultural a little bit, because like we're all career oriented and not family oriented like older cultures. Mm-hmm. Immigrants come here to make money, so everyone's focused on their career. Also, we're so free and times are good that you don't have to do anything manly anymore, or like you don't have to fix anything. Everything's specialized. You pay. Everything's convenient. Yes. So people want the party to continue for as long as possible. So I think some of it's cultural, but ultimately the truth is, like there's exceptions to everything. There's no rule without an exception. But we're here to reproduce. No different than string beans, strawberries. So if like you're feeling a little lost or empty, it's because you're at a certain age where like you're past peak. Your body starts dying and your muscle actually starts deteriorating like in your 30s.
Yeah, dude, when you told me that still bugs me.
Yeah,
it's
tough.
Now I start like when I do push-ups, I'm just trying to bring my muscles back to life, and that's because of you.
And it's the truth. So we're here to reproduce. And when you do, you get a sense of fulfillment and like we're so detached from nature, we forget that we're animals. But the fact is, we're here to reproduce.
Right.
And so if you're feeling a little lost and you're going, I don't know, what is it? Maybe I'll take another antidepressant. It's like, no, maybe you should give up the video game collection. You're 50.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the issue.
Yeah.
Maybe you're trying to find satisfaction out of something that there is no satisfaction anymore because you're not 15 years old anymore. And so maybe that's the issue.
Yeah.
And maybe you should face that fear for whatever reason you have it and do it. And so I think those fears are there because they're conditioned in. I think in a lot of ways they're conditioned in because of our society. You go to Greece and other countries, that's not even a question. People are like, yeah, you have a family, you get kids. That's like what everyone's trying to. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's why we got a dick and balls.
And it's never too late.
Nature didn't give us a dick and balls so we can autoerotic asphyxiate. That's us. I mean, nature wasn't like, hey, hopefully, hopefully you'll fucking, hopefully you'll hang yourself from a ceiling fan with a fucking waist belt.
Yeah, you didn't get dick and balls to play Call of Duty at fucking 52 years old. Although it's, there's nothing wrong with a video game here. Yeah. But here's what I'm going to say. It's also never too late. Somebody said to me, they're like, dude, I'm in my late 40s. I'm in my late 40s. What the fuck am I doing? I had to be honest with you. I know guys that late 40s, early 50s go, okay, dude, I finally found somebody. It's not like it. That's the thing. It's not going anywhere. Like, I think you have to ultimately.
For a guy.
What?
For a guy. If you're a guy.
More for a guy, but you could still be
more for a guy.
But what if you're a woman that's either divorced or you were with a guy? Check this out, though. What about a woman that was with a guy that fucking procrastinated for so long? She strung her along, said he was going to marry her. She never did. Dude, I know those women that are like, he never gave me a ring 15 years. Now she's in her mid-40s, late 40s. She told that guy fuck off because he was fearful and could never commit. She could go find somebody else now, especially online.
She could find someone else, but I'm just saying the reproduction thing is,
Oh, the reproduction thing is...
Women become high risk in their mid-30s.
Yeah. I'm talking about, you can still go on and get a relationship and a nice life.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck if you missed a boat.
But let's not get it twisted. I mean, they're...
They age worse. I know.
Look, and I'm not saying it's the only thing in life and there's no other way to get fulfillment, but life's not fair. It is what it is. I mean, we're here to reproduce, so let's not get it twisted.
Speaking of reproducing,
doesn't mean you have to do it, but I'm saying this whole trying to figure it out and choose what it's like. There's that comes at a cost.
Right.
I think people think having kids is like this horrible thing. You won't be able to do your dream and all that. But you have kids. There's nothing that competes with it. It's the greatest thing in the world. So it's like, just know if you're putting that off because you're scared because you're gonna miss out on yourself. It's like, no, you're gonna miss out on happiness in life.
I have a theory of it. I said it to somebody. I'm not gonna mention names. There was a comedian too. I have a theory about it where I think a lot of people that say that they don't want kids, I think it's weird too. A lot of people that say they don't want kids, I've seen them with kids and they're fucking incredible. They're incredible. I've seen that. And I think it has to do with something that either happened to them or they're afraid or they're so loving that they don't want any kind of hurt. There's a weird thing that I think people are afraid of, even, I know this sounds crazy, but psychologically, maybe even the love that comes with it. There's a fear there, dude. I seen it. I seen people, I'm going, how could you not want kids? You're so good with kids. And it's like a weird thing that like they don't want to mess up, or like maybe they were messed up. But I think that there's something to that.
Yeah, and we're too free to explore that stuff because culturally we're so free and things are so comfortable. There was probably all those fears in other cultures previously too, but people just did it because it was like that was culturally what you were pressured to do.
Right.
So
now, speaking of reproducing, congratulations to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Because you're about to join you're about to get to the big leagues.
I'm in the daddy-daughter club.
Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody with one kid, okay? But when I hear people talk about, I got one kid, he or she's not sleeping good, I'm like, cry me a fucking, okay? No, my buddy told me this. Shout out to my buddy, my high school buddy, Kevin Martin. He told me this a long time. I'll never forget. He goes, buddy, 1 is 1, 2 is a million. And I just laughed it off. I go, yeah. No, he goes, no, Paul, look at me. 1 is 1, 2 is a million. And dude, when I had a 3-year-old and a newborn, it was a million. Because one is hungry, one's not. One needs to sleep, the other one, with 2, there's always something. 1, I'm not going to say it's minor leagues because you're still taking care of a life, but once you get them down for a nap and they eat, you can rest your eyes for a little bit. You got a couple, dude, you're on you're a parent.
Yeah.
You're a parent. You know what I mean? Like having one, it's like one step up of having a dog.
I got a secret weapon.
What's the secret weapon?
Mother-in-law.
Huge.
Dude,
I had one 40 minutes south, one 40 minutes north. Huge. Yes.
Huge.
Yes, it's going to the bullpen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to listen. Sometimes you got to call in the lefty.
Yeah.
You got to call in. My mom used to come every Tuesday when my son was born. She go rest. And I would go up to the bed, and my mom, and it was.
And nobody loves the kid more than the grandparent. Grandparents are like, when it comes to grandkids.
I thank you for thank you for fucking reminding me of that bit.
Yeah.
I have a joke. I have a bit. Actually, I shouldn't do it on the show because I'm doing it in a new hour.
Yeah.
But I have a joke about the love of a grandparent is something. But I also think it's this. And no disrespect. I almost think they're doing a do-over if they fucked up. And I've talked to somebody about that where they're like, if they kind of look back at maybe the mistakes, and then when they get the grandchild, they don't do it, and I think it makes them feel a little better. I'm sorry, I know you love them still, but I think it's a little bit of a fucking makeup.
Yeah,
You know?
could be. But
it's
also,
like a makeup call in football.
I also think there's some, I also think it's like gives them purpose too. Like
Yes.
they have a purpose, which is good.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to 70, 80, you need something to do. It's like, all right, well then watch my kids.
Yeah.
There should be like a hire grandparent for like free babysitting service.
Yeah.
Like
well,
if-
no, but here's the deal. You can't have, you can't have babysitters having strokes and shit.
What do you
know,
mean?
I mean, they're fucking 80, dude. You know, it's like.
You watch them on a Ring camera. But there should be free babysitters if you so choose. If you're in a financial bind, there should be a program set up, like a social service program, where there's like grandparents without grandkids for whatever reason, because their kids are actors or whatever, and their kids didn't have kids, and you can go watch someone else's kids for free, so you feel like you're useful.
Yeah, I do think it's a sense of purpose thing for sure.
It totally gives you a sense of purpose.
Like when you watch your mother-in-law with your daughter, it's like it really is like watching Jordan, right?
It's just she's a great mom, a great grandma.
Yeah.
I'm lucky, and I love that. My parents are dead, and my grandparents, I don't remember them. One of them they both died. I didn't have grandparents on either side.
Yeah.
So it's nice that my daughter has grandparents. It's very nice.
And then she'll remember it. She'll remember it, and they'll always talk about their grandparents.
And listen, these are things like I'm saying. It's like, look, don't get it twisted. I don't want people to go like, oh, there's more to life. There's, of course, depending. Look, gay guys, they have the most fun. They're the freest people. Their lives are great. Whatever. Kids is not the end all be all, but there is a big fulfillment in it. There is an absolute big fulfillment in having kids.
Yeah, nobody's saying, listen, there's going to be YouTube comments, hey, that's fine. Listen, if you don't want to have kids, nobody's saying it, but you are missing an aspect of life. But you're missing an aspect of life that is fucking really incredible.
And I'm talking to the people out there who are like thinking about that thing. It's like, hey man, jump into it. It's great. Like it just.
Well, let's talk about
worry.
Let's talk about you for a second.
But the thing I wanted to say to piggyback off that is. To go back on the cultural thing, even when we're talking about grandparents, you can kind of see how we're kind of conditioned differently here in America. Because like in other countries, everyone lives together. You know, it's like we hear the grandparent gets to like 60, we like kick them. We're like, get in an old folks home, get out of my way.
Yeah.
I got to work.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
See, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's bad because you lose the wisdom of the grandparents. You lose the help for your kids. They lose the purpose, the sense of community. It does lose a lot. And they've noticed in the blue zones. This is something that they've noticed in the blue zones. Blue zones are like there's 5 blue zones on the planet where people live to like the longest. There's called centarians. They live to like 100.
There's one. It's in Asia.
There's a few. There's one in California too.
Is Okinawa one of them?
Okinawa is one of them.
Okinawa's got the most centenarians in the.
And Greece has one called Ikaria, the island of Icaria, and the.
So a
centarian.
Centarian is somebody that lives to 100 or more.
Yeah, and I did shows for these people at the Icarian convention. They all meet in America. All the immigrants from that island.
They were all how old were they?
They party, dude. I've never seen, and they're all together. Grandparents, kids, parents, and so researchers think that that's the biggest thing in common. Not only the diet, but that the family is together, and also they all hang together, party together.
Yeah.
They do everything.
Loneliness, when somebody's in their 80s or 90s and they're alone and somebody comes visits every once in a while or they get put in a home, that's when it just starts to go down because they lose a will.
Yeah.
They lose a will. A lot of times, and something that's really sad is if you notice a lot of times couples that are married for 60 years, when one goes down, the other one goes down very, very quickly.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
If my wife goes down, I'm just going to go down just because, like, what do I do in the kitchen? I can't even make a tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, if you would know nothing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Do you pay any of the bills or anything?
What do you mean?
Like, do you pay any of the bills as far as, or does she send them all out? Does she
I do
organize
all that. It would be nice if she did that. Yeah.
Well, see, the thing with me is like I don't. You know.
I know. Yeah. I've called you for things. I've
Actually,
been like, can I get the handyman's name? And you're like, hold up. Yeah, you go, Stace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Stace. What's the guy's name?
That's one joke Nate Borgazzi has where he goes, dude, if my wife, I just wouldn't know what to do. I'm like
she
that.
Does everything.
It's like my wife.
He was actually like that. He was very much like that.
But my wife is like my wife.
She handles everything.
My wife handles everything.
Yeah.
Like I'll go and purchase something, but then she runs it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't.
Yeah.
You know.
She likes to run. It's part of her personality too, and she's good at it.
No, my wife's personality personality is like my wife wants to be. My wife comes to the line of scrimmage as a quarterback and she starts pointing out audibles. I mean, that's who my wife is.
She's top notch. She's in control. She accomplishes it well. It's just
she's just a well-oiled.
She just gets it done well.
Yeah. If like she would be a great general, she would be like, if it was any strategy to like get ahead, she's insane.
I think she's just great at what she does. Like whatever she chooses to do, it's gonna be great. Whatever it is. The holidays. She makes it look, whatever she says I'm gonna do. She goes to work. It's gonna be good. Like whatever she's doing. Or whoever she's the boss of. It's gonna work.
Tough cookie though. Huh?
It's good. Well, that comes with it. That comes.
You got a tough cookie.
Yeah, mother, employee, employer, host, whatever aspect your wife goes into, she's gonna crush it. It's just she's gonna rise to the top.
I got a tough one though.
She's gonna rise to the top.
Yeah,
but I mean that comes with it.
Yeah,
that comes with it.
And I kind of need it. I think like need it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're like me. Listen, we're a couple of. You can talk. You can wear as many tracksuits as you want. You can fucking come here as many tracksuits as you want, but make zero mistake, you're 50% a Greek kid, which means you do like crime, but it also means you like to kick your fucking feet back and drink a coffee and enjoy life. Because no group of people on this planet know how to have a good time and enjoy themselves more than Greeks. Nobody. We eat dinner at 10.
But I do that, don't I?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that you're a fucking Greek kid, no matter which way you fucking slice it. That's why you're not fucking in jail right now. You know, because we don't, so it's like, so you like to kick your feet back like me and have a good time and enjoy, so your wife balances you out. You know, I have a control freak wife too, who's on top of shit, scheduled and stuff. Dude, I mean, I don't even know what time my shows start. I'll sometimes call Jared, the guy who features for me, my kid. He's hilarious. Check out Jared Harvin. And I'll be like,
Jared's great.
I'll go, we'll be in the hotel, and I'll go, what time's the show?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm like that.
I've texted my features that live out of state. And I go, is it 7:30 tonight or 8?
You want to hear a funny one?
Yeah.
My agent just canceled the weekend because it's like coming up and I forgot about it. And I haven't been mentioning it at all. And she's like, hey man, the club just wants to know, like, there was like no ticket. I was like, I didn't even
remember.
And then I went back in the emails and I was like, oh fuck,
they forgot that
I didn't even put it in my schedule. I didn't talk about it. And I mean, this was like 8 months ago, and I just forgot about the weekend. So we had to cancel the weekend in that fucking club in that city. Because, and I'll probably never work there again. It is what it is. I mean, it's like, to be honest with me, they never sent me a ticket link. My agents didn't follow up. So it's probably their fault too. But I should have immediately, when I got the weekend, put it in my calendar. My wife would have done that.
Well, see, I'd give it, the thing is, as soon as I get a date, I go to Stace. Stace has it all on the calendar. Yeah, you have to. Just give it to the, because she, my doctor's appointments, she tells me, I just say, hey, Stace, my physical's now here. That's
I missed the doctor's appointment the other week. I just missed it. Called me up and I was like, I'm a very disorganized person.
Here's the thing. We can joke about women.
I have zero discipline.
Yeah, we could joke about women all we want. And we could say that they do this and that they're tigers and that they're this and that. The bottom line is this. Women are incredible. They run shit. They understand. They're organized. And they're just more ready and prepared than men are. They really are for the aspects of life that are going to the doctor, going to the dentist, making sure this is paid for, going to pick up your child here. Because if it was on us, I know me, I'll speak for myself, if it was on me, I'd be missing a lot more appointments.
Yeah, here's the thing, like women have different chemicals in them. They're different. So when I was younger, I didn't get that. And I did this whole like, I was on this like whole, like, we were brought up in this culture of like this equality thing, or like, and so I would like get mad at women like the way I would my friend, for like saying something. And now I've kind of understood that we're different, and I have a sense of humor about it. And so,
well, you laugh about it from keeping from fighting, right?
I have a sense of humor about it because there's more of an understanding of what it is and why. Like when you're driving and my wife is just hammering me, or like she starts hammering me the way a friend never would. Because then I'm going, like, imagine you started hammering. I'd be like, Paul, what the fuck?
Right, if we were driving down here and I'm going, hey, dude, you're.
But a woman is just different. She's thinking about, like, they're just more responsible. They're more, it's just, they're different. They have different chemicals. They get in moods. All those stereotypes are true.
But here's the thing. Yes, but here's the thing. when your wife is a pain in the ass in the car.
Right.
I think any woman that's in the car with you, it's a very, very control thing.
You remember when you wanted to vent to me and things were going good and I was just like, hey, you guys see things from her perspective?
I'm not gonna lie, dude. That was the one time I was like, this fucking kid's projecting. Yeah. I called up. This is what happens, okay? And we thought
you gotta think about things from her perspective.
This is what happens, okay? Because I do the opposite of what you did.
Yeah.
I go with the person and then I go harder, right?
Yeah.
So all friends call, right, each other, and they say, hey, man, can I talk to you for a second? Man, I need to vent. So I remember I show up to the supermarket. I was waiting for them to come out with the groceries or whatever. And me and Stacey got into it. And I left, right? Yeah. And I call up Yannis. And Yannis goes, hey, what's up? I go, hey, man, can I vent to you for a second, man? Can I talk to you for a second? And you were like, yeah. I go, you know something, man? It's all about them. And it's all about what they want. And at the end of the day, if it's not according to their plan, okay, if it's not according to their fucking plan, okay, then it's on us. And they always fucking make it. It's so fucking one-sided and selfish and everything. And I'm waiting for my friend to go, yeah, dude, I hear. And he just goes, well, you know, man, like, you know, sometimes you got to think about, you know, their perspective. And I'm going, what? You go, yeah, like, you know, they got different chemicals and their emotions and stuff. And I just go, oh, things are going good with you? Yeah, we're in a good stretch right now. And I'm going, you motherfucker, I need you. I need you.
Yeah.
And you were going, yeah, no, you know, when you said this, then I knew she was like.
No, because I remember I said to you, I said, well, you know, if I admitted it. I was like, you know, if me and Brittany were fighting right now, I'd probably get to see your side a little more. I was like, things are good right now.
I knew things were good when you go, yeah, you know, their hormones. I mean, you started talking about like you were like a girlfriend to her. Yeah, the chemicals, you know, their hormones.
Well, Paul, you got to look at it from her perspective. I mean, you know,
their chemicals change once a month. Can I get a little help here? Can I get a little fucking support from a friend here? I'm just trying to vent. I'm at the supermarket. He's talking about their hormones. He goes, you actually said, I think you opened. You go, well, you know, you got to look at it from their perspective. And I'm going, listen, Dick, just because she hasn't yelled at you in fucking 20 minutes is not fair.
Yeah.
Mike, you got a girl or no?
Oh, God.
I do, but I can't relate to any of this because she's perfect.
Yeah.
How long you been with her?
4 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're in. He's in.
Yeah,
now
so
it's,
like
now it's the baby stuff. We're not married or engaged or anything, but it's like she's at the point now where it's like, I don't even give a fuck if you propose to me, but like we got to start thinking about a baby.
Oh yeah.
Because you know at a certain age.
Yes. And it's understandable. They have a different clock than we do. And like she's on a fucking. She's like
but her mom had her when she was 40, so I'm like. We have an example at which we don't have to wait.
You're like, hey, let's put. You know, every generation could push it a little farther.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go for 42.
What's her name?
45.
Catherine Zeta-Jones had a baby at 51. Dude, but that's rare and that's dangerous.
It's
dude.
dangerous, yeah.
But by the way, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Because you have number 2 coming.
Thank you.
That's pretty nuts.
Thank you.
So you're ready to step into the big leagues now.
Ready to step into the big leagues, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna go.
Look, I caught the last train. Let's not make. I won't make any mistake about it. We were talking about the other night. You know, it was like because you're a guy who did it early. You did the right thing, and you did it early, and you got a great family. Your wife is one of my favorite people on the planet. She's just like one of those people. There's just no issue. She's just like a top-notch human being. You got top-notch kids. You got a top-notch family. And I was smart. I think I got to give myself credit. I was like, you know what?
You weren't afraid.
That's success. That's what I want.
You got.
The rest of the stuff
fear.
is a job. The rest of the stuff comes and goes. Money comes and goes. Everything else, I enjoy doing it. But it's like that's not going to be my life. Life. I'm not going to be in a fucking hotel room alone. That's not going to be my life.
Right.
So I caught that last train. You were hanging off the back of the train with a ticket like that, and I was running like this. You grabbed my arm, and then I was flying in the air for a second. You pulled me in that last car, and you're like, "Hey,
I had to
come do this life."
Yeah, and you grabbed it and you jumped in.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You were a great example. You are a great example, I think, for a lot of comics. Look, 'cause let's be honest, comics die. Our lifestyle, comics die young a lot, and it's a tough life. You're on the road. It's lonely. There's a lot that goes into it, and comics, men and women, I think, eschew that family life because they think it's going to hurt their career, but it does not. It does not. It enhances your career.
It does.
First of all, it gives you more material. If you want to talk about it the more selfish way, it also makes you relatable, more relatable to regular people as you get older, because they have family, they have kids, so you can relate to your audience more. You don't want to be a 50-year-old guy still talking about shit that relates to fucking 17 and 20-year-olds.
100%.
It's just because they're going to listen. They're going to want to go see the comic who's 25 or 28 or 30. They're not going to want to go see the guy who's 50 who's doing that material.
And I'm going to take it a step further.
Yeah.
It will actually, because as you evolve as a person and a human being, and a man or a woman or father or mother, as that happens, you're gonna bring this different person on stage with a better perspective, which then makes your comedy better. I remember JB Smooth was sitting outside of New York Comedy Club, and I think this was right around the time he was auditioning for SNL. He ended up being a writer, right? This is before Curb, okay? And he was out there, and he's like 18 years in or something. He's like, when my daughter was born. JB Smooth goes, when my daughter was born, that's when I was just like, okay, like this is not a fucking game anymore.
Because other people depend on you.
Other people depend on you. So it's like you go from this funny person who's probably hopping around doing what you want to now you're a funny person who needs to really fucking put food on the table and provide. And that sharpens your skills and it does all that. So any comedian go, I don't want to do it. You don't want to stop drinking and have no responsibility is what you don't want to stop doing. But it will, if you do want it. This one comic, Charles Engel. Shout out to Charles. He's a funny comic out of Arizona. He opened for me a couple times. He goes, hey, man, he goes, I'm getting married and this and that. And he goes, and I actually thought about you. And he's like, at first I was like, dude, am I making a mistake? And then I was like, no, I'm doing the right thing. I go, dude, you're doing the best thing you could do, man, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and even like how are we making a mistake? Like, the chances you play Madison Square Garden are slim. But even if you do, you play Madison Square Garden and then you go home.
Right.
You're in Madison Square Garden for 1 hour. And then you have the rest of your life. You want to go back to an empty hotel room?
What it is like it's fear. It's fear of making money. It's fear that you can't provide. It's fear, dude. There's some people have fear of self-worth.
And hey, look, some of those. What about the other fears? What do you want? What if you fall in your house alone and there's nobody there? That's a good reason to be in a relationship. Yeah, you fall. You're fucking laying alone with a broken back on the basement
what if
stairs.
you're 65?
The cat's not going to help you.
No,
the cat's not going to be able to call 911.
Yeah, and what if you're 65 in a fucking studio and nobody gives a fuck about your existence?
I mean,
and
it's
your
brutal.
Parents are fucking on their way out, and those are the only connection you have to anything.
It's brutal,
dude. I've heard comics. I heard of some like comics that like sit in a studio or one bedroom and like they don't leave the house until they do spots and they just go home all day. And that's their existence. It's like if you want to do that,
if you want to do that, hey, God bless. But for the people who are wondering, it's like I think it's good to have examples of guys to be like, hey, man. It's really good to have a life outside of comedy because life will eat. I mean, comedy itself, I know this from experience. I've been doing it a long time. Comedy itself will not love you back the way you love it.
Of course.
It will not love the passion you have for it. And it will not return that to you.
No. And one thing I learned is it doesn't owe you any. And one thing I learned is comedy doesn't owe you anything.
Listen.
And you got to look at it as comedy is what you do. It's not who you are. That's how
a good one.
That's what, when I first sat with my manager, shout out to Rory Rosegarden, and Rory has some really fucking great comics that I've been doing a long time. It's like comedy is what I do. It's not who I am.
Yeah.
Who I am is my kid's father, my wife's husband, the person that I am living in, and that. But I happen to love and have a talent to do what I love to do. It's my job. I love it. But like that's it. And it's like at the end of the day, that's it.
You want to seek balance, and I mean, it's important to know that. Like if there are, it's just comedy.
Just don't have a kid with the wrong woman.
Your job, don't do that. But your job, no matter what it is, comedy, whatever it is, it's not going to give you what you're giving to it.
Yeah.
No matter how many fucking Bugattis you're able to buy, those Bugattis are not going to be there when you're in need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like.
And also,
your family will. So go build one, Go, just grow up, you fucking child.
Yeah, here's the thing. But don't jump to the first, because I heard one comic. I'm not mention names. He goes, yeah, man. He goes, I got a stripper pregnant. Now we're getting married. I was like, well, you could have chose a little better.
I mean, he did the right thing. He put a ring on her finger. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, did he get her out of the club? I don't know. I mean,
hey, listen. Just look. People are not realistic about the cost of things. You know, I think you get, when you get older, you should realize everything has a cost, everything has a consequence. Just be aware of it. Yeah. I don't judge anybody for anything they do, but I mean, if the stripper, if the stripper turns around, go bust the stripper and fuck somebody else, be like, hey man, I married a stripper, so like that was the cost of what I did. Yeah. Like it has a cost. If you get into a relationship with someone because the sex is incredible, know that you're in a relationship for a superficial reason. That gets old. Yeah. If you're in a relationship because the woman's loyal, know that it might be a little more boring. The sex might be that great, but if you go to the fucking hospital or your parents do, she'll be by your side. Like, no, think those out like an adult. Yeah. Don't go through life thinking you're gonna get your cake and eat it too, because you're not. Yeah, yeah. It's never gonna happen. No, everything has a cost. Yeah. You either pay up front or the check comes later, but the check will come, motherfucker.
Listen, you're either paying on the back end or the front end.
You're either paying on the front or back, but there's a check. There's always a fucking check. Always. It may take years for that check to come, and then when it comes, you go, oh fuck. But don't sit there and act like that the check's not gonna come, because it will come. And I think if you think that way, it clears up every decision you make, and you start thinking about things not just the way we're conditioned to think by this society that just wants us to work till we die because we're a new country and immigrants came here. And even the way it was founded just to rake resources and send back to England, and then immigrants came here for fucking the streets are paved with gold and everyone's just trying to pile as much gold into their pocket. Yeah. There's other countries and cultures that have been through that, and they know like, hey man, that's not the answer either. So, have a Christmas. Yeah. Have a Christmas with somebody, put some pajamas on, and hand a fucking little daughter or son a toy.
And pour yourself a whiskey. Pour yourself a whiskey, fire, and enjoy it.
I mean, I'm not saying to not enjoy the bars and your boys, but think about what you're doing and why. Yeah. I mean, like, some people make the decision to be single for the rest of their lives, but at least some of those people are realistic about what that means. Yeah. And they accept it. I hate the people who go like, those people who are always fucking complaining ad nauseum. It's like, and you can clearly see, hey man, you're just trying to have your cake and eat it too. Yeah. You're not mature enough to accept the consequences that there's going to be minuses no matter what. Right. You want always there to be positives. Yeah. That's not realistic.
And then they complain about the one negative, but they're not paying attention to all of the good shit because they're selfish and they're narcissistic.
It's just, I couldn't have said it better.
You know what I was thinking about? You just said something. I was driving in the car and I was thinking about how society is lined up. Society is lined up for you at 18 years old to go to college, pick a major at 18, 19 years old, okay? 18, 19 years old, I was fucking, I was really all over the place. And I was drinking, I was reckless, I was like really rebellious, a lot of things. They want you to go to college by 19, 20, then let's just say you change your major at 21. You're still a 21-year-old kid who's now just able to drink, just legally enough to say you could have an alcoholic beverage. They want you to know what you're going to do, and by 22 years old, you graduate college with a degree that you either can do something with or cannot. I feel like it's so fucking backwards to have that happen. And then not only that, to have the debt. Unless, listen, you're going to be a lawyer, you know you want to be a lawyer. You're going to be a doctor, you know you're going to be a doctor, okay? You need certain credits to be a law officer, something like that. That's one thing. But these kids that go in with really no direction and don't really know, they could be smart too. They're coming out with debt, dude. They're coming out with debt, and then now they get a job, and all they're doing is making ends meet and paying off the debt, and they're stressed. That's not how it should be. If I went to college later, like my dad waited. My dad didn't go to college until he was 24. He waited. He worked at a Howard Johnson's. He made money. He bought himself a car. Then my dad went to University of New Mexico. He got all A's because he was like, he did those 4 years when he worked at Howard Johnson's and he made money and he bought a car and he dated and he did all those things, whatever he did, like he was like ready now. And I feel like people are so afraid because society, what?
No, I got something to say, but you said a good point, yeah.
Society is telling you, go get the debt and go this and you need to do that. And I really think, dude, that like I'm going to tell my kids, I'm going to go, look, if you know what you want to do and there's a university that's going to set you up to do it, then go do it. But if you don't know right now, and you're going to try to figure things out, like live a little too, I think that that's a good thing too.
And then you go, hey, if you don't go, it's a couple extra grand for me to play around with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's what's happening, right? Like
I'll buy a big house and have my whole family there. I want my whole family there.
Yeah, you know what?
I don't want anybody going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I want, you know, when you said, oh, the grandparents live longer, have everybody come to the house.
And that's because Italians love home. There's nothing more than
no,
Italians
no.
love.
I love home.
Dude, my wife's Italian. I mean, they love home.
Home.
Let's go home. Let's go home always. I got to drag my wife out of the house to go anywhere.
I fantasize about landing, the airplane landing, and
your
just getting a car. No, just getting home.
Yeah.
Just when I'm on the road and I land at JFK or something, all I want is the car service there, so I know I'm going home, and I stay home.
Well, here's what happened. We became comfortable, right? So it's like our grandparents worked their asses off. My grandfather, I think my dad said he met him like 14 times. He was just working at the diner 24 hours. The immigrants came here. They worked so hard to give the next generation a good life. Then technology on top of the Industrial Revolution. We're so comfortable. So then people started going to college for like liberal arts degrees. It was like a second high school diploma. Right. So that's kind of pointless. Like to go to college to learn, to major in history or English, you just read books. Yeah. But like education is very important.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking education.
No, if you want to be like, you know, the immigrants now that still have that mentality that our grandparents had, which was more for like start a business, because that was like what was flourishing at the time. Get a dry cleaner, or get a diner, or you know, become a plumber, or become, you know, before everything became fucking corporate, and then our generation, my generation was like get a job. It started from like go start a business. That was my grandfather's generation. And then my father's generation, it was still like start a business. My dad was old. And then as the generations went on, everything got corporate. And it was like, the dream was like to get a job with an office at a company. And then it was that era. And then this era.
Get a 401k.
And then technology made things even more comfortable. So it was like start an app, think of an idea, or become an influencer, liberal arts, creative. Like now everyone you notice how many comedians there are? Like everyone is a fucking comedian. Everyone is like wants to be in arts and creative. And there's a little element of laziness to it. It's like because we're lazy, we don't have that hunger anymore. Because you look at the South Asian kids, you look at the Asian kids who immigrate, this generation, they're going like doctor, engineer, coder, STEM. They're majoring, and they're whooping Americans' ass in everything, in every Ivy League admission and everything, because they have that mentality of education. But to your point, education with a purpose. They're not just going to fucking read The Catcher in the Rye again. Right. They're going to learn a trade in a field that it will be lucrative.
But I think the government wants, like there was a lot of truth to when George Carlin said that. Like the government wants you to fucking follow that thing and be in debt and do all that. And because it keeps those people, you know, like I don't think the government loves the entrepreneurs coming up. Not so much. Not the ones that, not the free thinkers, you know, not the people that will question things, right?
I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I think it could, at certain times that could be truer than others, but there is no government. Like it's not a person. There are elites, and I think elites like a certain system. Yeah. But like, I think it's more financially based, and I think there's an element of truth to that. Yeah, they want to hold on to their wealth, and they set up the system to do it.
But if everybody does the same pattern, and if everybody does the same path, right, of school right after and debt, and then going to get a job, if everybody does that, then that kind of keeps the people that are on top a little on top, right?
I also think it's an inherent flaw in capitalism because nothing's perfect. I think capitalism is the best system. It's the best worst system. Yeah. Just like democracy, just like a republic. Yeah. It's like everything has flaws, right? So one of the inherent flaws of capitalism is the more you get, the more it's easier to make more. Especially in like the borrow and loan. Yeah. So it's like during the pandemic when we were all eating our shoes or getting like relief checks. I mean, and you could see how comfortable we were because everyone was still going to dinner and buying sneakers with their fucking relief checks because we were so used to affluence. But they were getting rich. They were buying it when the stock market crashed. That's when they buy because they can afford to pay for it in hard times. Right. It's the same way that Walmart takes everything out of business because what Walmart will do is they'll go into an area where there's mom and pops. They'll make everything cheaper because they're using slave labor in another country that's propped up by some fucking dictator that's an ally to the multi-corporations. So they force their labor to make a low amount, lower than what the American would want. And we're a little lazier anyway. And they're happier because they're being lifted out of poverty anyway, a little bit. They don't know much. And then they'll go into the neighborhood and lose money. So Walmart will go into an area and make their products cheaper, and they can afford to lose money until they put you out of business.
Right.
Because they're undercutting you, and then they're the only dance in town, and then you're forced to go to them.
back. Yeah, yeah.
And then they recoup their money.
That's a monopoly, right?
That's the inherent flaw in capitalism, and that's why you see now we've become a charmless chain wasteland. Anywhere you go, it's just fucking McDonald's, Burger King, Subway.
Yeah.
It's like because that, you know, it's like Monopoly. Like you got to reset the board at some point.
Yeah.
And
but everybody that's
you can't just keep going ad infinitum into profit.
Yeah, and this is not. I don't want to be disrespectful here to anybody that got an education and works hard.
Open micers need health care.
No,
is what I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying is like, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody with an education or anybody who has a good job and is comfortable and great, and that's great. But everybody that's told. Everybody that I heard growing up, hey, you could go to college and you get a good job. You go to college and you get a good job. All of those people that told me that, none of them are like really free.
But I think
none of them are free.
I think there was a time there was more truth to that. I think times changed. I think there was a time where college was more important.
Oh, right, but not now.
Now, like I think if you're going to college with a purpose,
right,
to just go get a history degree, it's just like what.
But what I'm saying is like since the *90s too, like because it was just getting a job. Since the mid '90s, late '90s, it was like you just get a job and like everybody. I know lawyers. My mother-in-law, there's a lot of debt.
Yes,
there's a lot of people.
But she's a lawyer.
She's
a lawyer. She makes a lot of money,
and she had purpose. She had purpose. There was a purpose to go and get that. But I'm just saying, like when you hear those people come out with debt,
with a sociology degree, it's like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Right.
Or if you come out and like...
I'm just saying, know what you want to do, and I'm just also saying it's okay. I'm not judging. I'm saying it's okay that if you leave school for a second or you don't go right away to figure out what you want to do, and really, and if you want to be an entrepreneur or go do something or invent something or start a business and make money, like it's okay to be like that. And when people are going to go, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd get a job. I'd get those medical bennies and all that. That's great. But like if that's not what you're supposed to do, like it's okay, man. And today with technology, with apps, and all that shit, you know, as crazy and silly as like Shark Tank is, like that's kind of cool that you could fucking make a product and have people, and not just on Shark Tank, have people invest in it and build something.
Well, the problem with our country, right, too, is like people go against their own interests because they're brainwashed. They got to toe the line of what their politics are. I mean, there's no, if you just want to talk about results, you look at the Scandinavian countries and their education system, especially Finland.
Yeah.
They're the #1 education system in the world. They go to school less. There's no homework. There's a whole bunch of things. But what they do is it's purpose driven. Like whatever the interest of the kid is, they start putting them towards that direction. Our education system, our public education system.
My wife is Finnish, by the way.
Yeah. Our public education system is an absolute failure. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's funded by property taxes. And this is where you want to go to like the Republicans go like, can you not admit that there's a problem there? Education as a business only, you know, is not really conducive. It's not working. And you can go, how think public schools? It's like, yeah, go look at Scandinavia, the way they do it. It's public schools. You go to McDonald's, the person behind the counter speaks 4 languages. I mean, it's like they're educated. And like Aristotle said, the future of your civilization depends on the public education of the citizens.
He had to throw Greek. He had to go Greek. He couldn't finish.
We founded everything. We started everything.
He couldn't.
The truth is, we started everything.
Here's the thing. He couldn't end the podcast without a Greek quote.
I mean, the situation is there would be no Rome. I mean, they say Rome conquered Greece. No, they say Rome conquered Greece, but Greece conquered Rome because you stole all our fucking ideas. His people would still be marching around with fucking spikes and wood dresses, fucking putting people's heads on spikes and fucking in wood boats, raping and pillaging. And the Asians forget about what they'd still be fucking eunuchs and running around with swords and shit. I mean, you know, what do the Greeks got to do to get a little fucking credit? I mean, we invented mathematics, philosophy, fucking a republic, democracy.
Is like, you're not going to go to college and get a liberal arts degree. Here's what Aristotle said.
Just because the statue said little penises, we can't get a little fucking respect in this goddamn neighbor? I mean, Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, Archimedes. I mean, the list goes fucking on. We started everything.
Confucius? No.
No, he was Chinese. But what did he say? Be wise and sit still? I mean, we were doing math. We're doing math. We're doing math. There would be no Rome without the Greek city-states. There would be no Rome. And Rome is undoubtedly the greatest success story in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it would be no Rome.
Who's the GOAT, Plato or Aristotle? Who's the GOAT?
The GOAT?
Yeah.
Well, Aristotle, there would be no Plato without Socrates, right?
Yeah.
There would be no Aristotle without Plato because they, actually
But who's the GOAT?
taught each other. The GOAT is Aristotle. All together, I think even Isaac Newton said just like the gamut of knowledge.
Yeah.
And like he was like such a Renaissance thinker. The GOAT would be Aristotle. Unfortunately, Aristotle also said women shouldn't vote and slaves are cool. But you know what? It was the time.
Everybody's got their flaws.
They got their thing.
Listen, and here's the thing. The point of the podcast is this. If you're going to get married late, don't worry about it, okay? And if you're afraid of having a family and you do comedy, don't worry about it. It will make you better. All of that shit is fears, okay? If you don't know what to do with college and you want to take a break and go work, it's okay. The point of this, you know what we're going to name this podcast? It's okay. You're going to be okay.
Yeah, but also, look, some of those fears are founded. It's not easy. Also, I think the point is...
I mean, I'm trying to end on a positive note.
No, but
here.
I mean, also, it's like, be realistic. I mean, there's negatives.
I'm like, guys, listen, you guys do anything you want and it's okay. Giannis is going, well, listen,
Well,
you know,
there's
there
negatives.
are fears. The fears are realistic.
It's negative. You're going to get about 2 blowjobs a fucking year, and they're not going to be to completion. You're going to have your balls constantly fucking broken, right?
Listen,
You're going to leave your shoes in your own fucking house.
You're not
gonna get
making your
yelled
own
at.
decisions.
Yeah, you're going to get yelled at like it's your mother. Things like that are going to happen. But at the end of the day...
You know what? Take your time.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
No.
if you fall and you got to go to the hospital...
We're going to talk ourselves out of the whole episode.
Actually, we're getting a divorce right after this episode.
Guys, I am going to be tomorrow, because this comes out tomorrow. This comes out Wednesday of next week. Tomorrow, I will be starting my run, my 3 shows at Gotham Comedy Club, February 2nd, and 2 on Friday, February 3rd. Gotham Comedy Club, New York City, February 2nd and 3rd. Valentine's Day, I'm going to be at the Pittsburgh Improv. It's a Tuesday night. Tickets are already going. I'm going with Pittsburgh's own Joe Bartnick is going to be there opening for me. It's going to be amazing. And then we have a bunch of stuff that we just added. We are going to Zany's in Chicago. We're going to the Vulcan in Austin, Texas. We're going to Side Splitters in Tampa. We have Charlotte on the thing. We have Raleigh. We have Salt Lake City, Wise Guys. I'm doing a weekend there. We just added, what was the other one that we got Denver Comedy Works. And more dates are coming, so go to paulvirzi.com for all those dates. I hope to see you in New York at Gotham tomorrow and Friday. And check out the Virzi Effect. Oh, check out the YouTube channel. Check out Anything Better podcast. And of course, guys, thank you so much for checking out Nocturnal Admissions on Netflix. Please watch it, share it, tell a friend, and get the Virzi Effect podcast, the new Virzi Effect podcast on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you get your podcasts. Thank you guys so much for listening. And Yannis, what do you got, bud?
Yeah, go to YannisPappasComedy.com for my live dates. See me in Madison, Wisconsin, February 9th through the 11th. Tacoma, Washington, February. Chicago, February. Atlantic City, March 3rd. Emmaus, Pennsylvania, March 4th. D.C., March. Dallas, Texas. Springfield, Missouri. Phoenix, Tampa, San Francisco, Providence. YannisPappasComedy.com and my podcast, Yannis Pappas Hour. Thanks for having me.
Check the Yannis Pappas Hour and all of his dates, YannisPappasComedy.com. One of the funniest, one of the best. Check that out. You're going to love it. Mikey, thank you. This has been episode 564, part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed Yannis Pappas. We'll be back next week with another episode. Tell a friend. Thank you so much.